Hey, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Shanae, and today we're going to bake simple chocolate cake layers. This is my go-to chocolate cake recipe whenever I'm creating all kinds of indulgent chocolate layer cake. And this recipe couldn't be easier, super simple, and it creates really nice, moist, light, and airy chocolatey cake layers that pairs perfectly with all kinds of fillings and buttercreams and ganache frostings. So let's get to it. For this recipe, you will need flour, sugar, cocoa powder, instant espresso powder, a little bit vinegar, eggs, milk, melted butter, oil, baking soda, and salt. So first we'll mix together the dry ingredients. Goes flour, sugar, cocoa powder, and instant espresso powder. And espresso powder is not gonna add coffee flavor. It really accentuates the chocolate flavor, so don't be afraid to use espresso powder, but if you don't have it, you can omit it, but it does add a little bit oomph. I'm going to add the cocoa powder into the mix, and baking soda and salt. And I like to use a whisk attachment first so that we can mix everything together really nice. Now you can skip this step and simply sift your dry ingredients, but I just like to avoid unnecessary dishes. Now I'm going to add our milk, butter, and oil. The oil makes the cake really nice and moist, and butter adds really nice flavor. So that's why we are using both of this. And then I like to lightly beat the eggs before we add into the mixture, just so that we don't have to mix it for too long, because we don't want to beat the batter too long or you will get really tough cake. Now we'll add that in. Now using a paddle attachment, we'll mix it until everything comes together and the batter is nice and smooth, about like 15 to 30 seconds. Now we're gonna give it a good stir with the spatula, clean the sides of the bowl so that there's no dry ingredients anywhere. Now we're gonna increase the speed until medium-high, whisk it for about like 15 seconds. That should do. The batter is looking really nice. And now I'm going to add vinegar as a last step, and then another 10 seconds or so. Smells so good. Look how beautiful batter is. I love how smooth it is. Now we're going to transfer into a cake pans. So I have prepared 3 6-inch cake pans here. I lined them with a parchment paper and sprayed with non-stick cooking spray, and I'm going to divide the batter into them. Divide the batter as evenly as you can. If you want, you can actually use a scale too. Sometimes I do that when I need even layers, but I think they're pretty even. So I'm going to bake them about 25-30 minutes at 350 degrees. Depending on the cake pan size, the baking time varies. So check out on my website. I will put the link to the recipe in the description below. When you print the recipe, you will have the baking time for different cake pans. Into the oven it goes, and now we'll show you when they come out. So cakes have baked and they've cooled down. So I'm going to show you how they look inside. Let's slice into them. So I'm going to run a knife around the edges just to make sure they come out nice and neat. There we go. Make sure the cakes are completely cooled, and when they're like freshly baked like this, even though they're cooled, they're still a little fragile, so be very careful. And I'm going to use my handy dandy cake slicer and cut into like the smallest one. Super moist, soft. Look at that. Beautiful, isn't it? And you can soak it in anything you would like, juices, syrups, chocolate milk would be really amazing to add that richness and moisture. But this is not as dry as sponge cake, so you don't even have to soak it. Next week, I'm going to share with you how to make super indulgent cake. I'm not going to share what flavor cake I'm making, but you have to come back and check it out. So make sure to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't checked out my basic vanilla sponge cake recipe, check it out. Until next time, bye.